Oh, hello, YouTube. I'm back for part 2 of my 2023 year-long wrap-up with all of my favorite books I read this year. Yeah! Let's start gushing about books, because these are all, like, my tippy-top favorites I read this year. There was a lot of books I liked that didn't hit this list, because they were pretty good, but they weren't tippy-top good. So these are my ultimate favorites. Let's go. So 2023 was kind of a year of sequels and spin-offs. So many well-beloved series had a spin-off come out or a sequel or something this year. So let's just start there and we'll move on. I said The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. This is a spin-off to the Cruel Prince series. And you know what? I liked it. I don't know why, because there's probably better books. But honestly, this whole tippy top book list was just curated by vibes. What am I still vibing with all the way in December? That was my one criteria. And honestly, I remember so much of this book. I'm vibing on all of the fae elements. Our heroine has shark teeth, for fuck's sake. That's really fun, okay? And I know it got a little bit mixed reviews, but vibes. I'm here for vibes, and the vibes were good, so I really liked it. Another spin-off series, I have The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Mahurin. This is a spin-off from the Serpent and Dove series, which I adored. And now we are following a new heroine, Saley. And this is going to be controversial, okay? Because a lot of people hate Saley. And the thing is, I really like Saley. So I think if you like Saley, you're going to love this, because you know how Serpent and Dove was about witches and stuff? This is still set in that world. We still have our witch friends, but now they got vampires. You took something good and you threw vampires on it. You just make it better. So yes, I very much enjoyed this one. I really like Saley as a heroine. Is she messy and makes bad choices sometimes? Yes, but I find her so fascinating that I don't mind that she's messy. It makes sense for this character to be messy. She's not this perfect imaginary hero who does everything correctly. That would be boring as shit. She makes a lot of stupid decisions, but it makes sense why she's making these decisions. And also the big thing with Saley in particular is that, she doesn't have magical powers like Lou did in the original trilogy. She doesn't have these big witchcraft abilities and fighting skills, although she has learned a bit of fighting skills. But still, she's a normal person thrust into this very extraordinary world, and she has to find her place in it, and she doesn't give up. So I like Saley. I said what I said. I really enjoyed this. Move on to some sequels now, and I have Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. This is the sequel to Ninth House, a long-awaited sequel to Ninth House. And I will say it is very much a middle book of a series. However, I was vibing so much with this character and with the writing and the spooky vibes that I was way into it. And also, this is the slightest of spoilers, but there is a glowing erect penis in here. Say no more, I'm in, tell me all about it. So I very much enjoyed this. It also is setting up a lot of things for book 3. I kind of think I have figured out where this is going, but we will see. I don't know. I have predictions, but I don't want to be spoilery. But yeah, I really did like it. I think Alex is a very fascinating heroine. She's, again, messy and unlikable at times, but you still root for her because she's so fucking interesting. So yes, very much an anti-hero. I love a good anti-hero. Painted Devils by Margaret Owen is so fun. This is the sequel to Little Thieves. And Little Thieves was incredible. It also made my top books of the year list the year I read that. And this one came out this year. Finally, we have the sequel. And I've already pre-ordered book 3. I'm in this. And it's so good. I tabbed the living hell out of it. If I tab something, it's good, okay? And yes, I just love these characters. We have Vanya. She's, again, an anti-hero. She's a bit of an asshole and does unlikable things at times, but she's very interesting. She has emotional depth. You root for her. And this book in particular, it's also about, kind of coming of age a bit. There's these characters, they're now maybe new adults, figuring out that they have bodies that can have sex with each other. But there's a lot of talk about, clear consent in this book. And it's really, like, healthy. These are two, 18, 19-year-old kids. Like, obviously, they're going to be doing that. So I think it was handled so well. And also, it has a lot of folklore and magic and, like, messy, unlikable anti-hero characters. And I can't wait for book 3. I'm so excited. All right, we're going to talk about some one-and-done kind of books here. So I have A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher. Now, technically, this is middle grade, which is wild because I don't usually read very much middle grade. And I haven't always been a fan of T. Kingfisher, but when T. Kingfisher wrote middle grade, it worked. And honestly, I just think about things that happened in this book often. I think is really good probably for fans of like Percy Jackson, because there's a lot of that like clever, weird humor going on in here. And it's also like just a little bit on the scary side. There's some definite horror elements going on, but also, it's a young woman. And she has her own magic. Magic just exists in certain people in the world. And her magic comes across through baked goods. She can like animate baked goods. So angry gingerbread man and stuff. It's just silly, but in a really fun, interesting way. And I liked that these characters were tested a lot. They have to, rise to the occasion given to them. Like, things aren't fair. It's not fair that you have to fight this evil and probably die and you're like 15. I don't know what to tell you. Buckle up, So it is very dark at times, but it's also very whimsical and it's funny and it's silly and it's goofy. And I just enjoyed it. It was a romp, okay? Like, I read it all in one day, had a ball, really enjoyed it. Now, another book I just keep thinking about from time to time is The Perfect Crimes of Marian Hayes by Cat Sebastian. So the thing with Cat Sebastian is that it's all historical romance, but like everybody's a little bit queer, which is, it's fine for this world. It's kind of interesting seeing like the past with queer characters that are so outwardly queer. So I appreciate that for Cat Sebastian because that's like across all of their works. And this book in particular is basically the epitome of be, buy, do crime. So it's just basically them getting into capers, doing crimes, saving the day, and also, defying gender roles. So I just think about it from time to time and some of the jokes in there and giggle. So the fact that I keep coming back to it and laughing at something in it, it's making my top list. All right, so the rest of my top books are ones that I read and went, hot damn, I'm pre-ordering all of the books. Or I'm going to read all of the books available right now. Let's get into them. I absolutely loved The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. Oh my God, did I love this. It is giving me everything I want. I tabbed the heck out of it. It's so good. So Shannon Chakraborty also wrote the City of Brass series, which if you haven't read, you need to go read this series. It's incredible. And this series, I think, loosely takes place in that same universe, except maybe like 1,000 years in the past. So this is a long, long time ago. But again, we have another anti-heroine in this. We have Amin Al-Sarafi, a legendary pirate captain. And through events that she cannot control, she kind of has to, get the gang back together for one last ride. And, hilarity and capers and crimes ensue from there. And I just really love it. Shannon Chakraborty, auto-by-author for me. Like, her books are so rich in their storytelling and, like, such great anti-heroines and, like, just wonderful characters that you're just going to be in love with. They're messy and they're interesting and they're lovable. So, yes, I already pre-ordered book 2. I need it. I don't know when it's coming, but I want it so bad. This was so good. You know what? I really, really enjoyed A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. It was so fun. And I pre-ordered book 2, which came out this year. Read that already, too. That's a Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch. Read that the day it came out. The whole thing the day it came out. Like, I'm obsessed with this. And I've already pre-ordered the next book. Like, this book. It started it for me. And Sarah Hawley is a relatively newer author, And y'all gotta get on this train now while it's still at the station, because I feel like these books are gonna get very popular and this author's gonna put out some really good bangers in the future. But yes, this book is so fun. It's there's a lot of, you know, family drama as well they're working out, and, you know, fake dating. There's witches and demons and just all kinds of like supernatural beings. So it's definitely a paranormal romance type of vibe here, but it's also, you know, it pokes fun at itself. It's kind of tongue-in-cheek at times, and also they're smutty and fun, and you root for the characters because they're lovable and like kind of messy, and you just want them to be together. You root for this relationship. And the same with book 2. Loved it just as much, but you know, I'm just putting up the first book for now, but love it. It's so fun. Check it out. I mean, it's not super long either. It's a quick read. Thank me later. And the kind of with the same vibe to Sarah Holly, I also have That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. And I loved it. In fact, I ordered all of the rest of the books in the series, read them all. And like, as soon as something else comes out in this series for pre-order, I am pre-ordering the shit out of it. That's how much I like this one book. I made me read all of the books plus the novellas. And these are short. Like, I think a full-length book is technically still like maybe a long novella. Is this basically A, B, C, D, no fillers. So you have action, 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 action. No like filler scenes where they're like, oh, well, maybe I need to think about my relationship, and like, oh, there's drama for no reason. It's like, fuck that shit, okay? It just gives you like A, B, C, D. So quick, easy, they're hilarious, they're smutty, it's a fantasy romance, it's a fantasy world with, you know, again, demons and dragons and all kinds of stuff. And also, you know, fun heroines who maybe get a little too tipsy and maybe make some bad decisions that turn out okay in the end. So yes, I love this one. It kind of started me on this journey, but I've read all of the books available for this series so far. I love them. And they're just like a good time. If you just want vibes, you just want like paranormal fantasy romance vibes, like this is your jam. Last up on my list, Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. And this one I went into with relatively low expectations because it's a TikTok series. And I'm like, okay, like it got translated into a novel. And then I was like, oh my God, it got translated so well into a novel. Like this could have been bad very easily, but honestly, this is filled with such joy. Like I can feel the author's joy writing this while I'm reading it. It really feels like this author just loves everything they're writing. They love all of their characters so intensely. And I mean you have a whole TikTok series, you know, you've been in this world for a while. I can understand your love of these characters, but it radiates back to me as just joy. So I'm being very hippy-dippy about this and the feels I get, but that's a big part of this, okay? It's, you know, it's a fantasy world. There's a woman named Evie. She is the assistant to the villain. So it's typical villainry things like, oh, the front doorway has severed heads and like we burn villages down. But you know, someone has to buy the office coffee. So it's like one part office, one part like fantasy story. So I guess, I don't even know, like Lord of the Rings plus The Office made a baby and it's this, and added like a sprinkle of like slow burn romance. And I've already ordered the second book of this series. This one has a bit of a cliffhanger, but they announced the title for the next book, which is Apprentice to the Villain. So I'm so excited. And this could have been bad so easily. And the fact that it was good, and I tabbed the heck out of it. So many funny like parts. You love these characters. It's filled with like so much joy to read. So yes. I absolutely love this one. Okay, so those are all my tippy top books for 2023. There were a lot more books, obviously, that I liked, but they just didn't hit that, you know, it's on a vibe thing. If they didn't have that vibe, then like they didn't make the list. So these are all my vibes. Like I don't even have a word for it. It's a je ne sais quoi. But yeah, these are my tippy tops. Let me know in the comments down below, what were your tippy top reads of 2023? Or if you have an all-time top favorite for 2023, what was it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you want cool exclusive content, including early access to videos and a book club, you can consider becoming a channel member or a patron. Links for that are in the description down below. And on that note, I will see you guys soon. Goodbye.